ego of mine called Willow that's kind of out there that people are aware of, doing something that's different than what Bray Wyatt and The Fiend did, but something very exciting because Willow's near and dear to my heart and my mind.
It's me, it's SP3, and we are here on the Sportskeeda Wrestling YouTube channel during Survivor Series 2021 weekend, and I am here with wrestling legend, WWE superstar Jeff Hardy. How does it feel? You're a part of Team SmackDown this Sunday at the Barclays Center. First time in Barclays Center since the pandemic. How does it feel to be back in Brooklyn?
Oh, it's super exciting. Just you saying that just gets I'm get all amped up, man, because everything has been so fresh and new since we got back in front of the live audiences, man, and the actual WWE universe, because the Thunderdome was so strange. It was a very surreal era in pro wrestling. So, yeah, the crowd have been so amazing for me, and I feel that energy and that love again. So, yeah, and I didn't qualify last year for Survivor Series, but this year I did. I'm on a different brand, so it's weird, but it's going to be cool. Like on the blue side, taking on the red side, and hopefully getting a V.
Definitely, for sure. How does it feel to be kind of like a leader on the SmackDown team, and in the locker room you have a couple of like younger superstars, and you yourself, your first Survivor Series in 1999, I just looked that up, but you have so much experience at Survivor Series. What are you going to tell to the less experienced competitors on the SmackDown side?
Yeah, it's just so strange to think of myself as a veteran and a leader in the locker room, you know, but I mean, that's just the case. And even Drew McIntyre is such an incredible athlete. I mean, he's like a superhero, like inside his human. It's crazy how talented he is. But then we got Sheamus. You know, I've got a lot of history with Sheamus. If he plays along with the team, it's going to be all right. And then we got Happy Corbin. Oh, my God, he's my least favorite, I have to say. And then King Woods. Probably my favorite. Such a cool king. So, yeah, as long as we work as a team, man, it's going to be A-okay. I think we're going to take it home.
So you're opposite a lot of superstars that you haven't really mixed it up with too often on Team Raw. Out of all of Team Raw, who's the one competitor on that side that you would love to mix it up with in a one-on-one setting?
I was really bummed out when I heard Ray wasn't going to be in the match, because me and Ray have never had an actual one-on-one match, but we have ran into each other like within a match before in the past. It might have been Survivor Series. I can't remember. But we have met as far as like in the ring, but not a one-on-one match. But Finn Balor probably. I think there's something like kind of babyface versus babyface type of moment there between us and Seth Rollins. I mean, he's just one of the hardest working men in pro wrestling today, and just the clothes he wears alone just makes me kind of want to, you know, mix it up with him and say, what's wrong with your fashion, man? Or maybe that's cool and I just don't know it.
You got to beat him to beat the fashion into him.
There you go. Yeah, maybe that's going to be my favorite spot, to beat the fashion into him. Oh, man.
So, like I said, you've been competing at Survivor Series since 1999. I remember 2001. You had the big dive off the steel cage against the Dudley Boys. You were here in New York in 2002, and this is your first time in New York for Survivor Series since that big event. How does it feel to have so much history with Survivor Series, and what's your personal favorite memory from Survivor Series?
Wow, yeah, that was when I couldn't refuse to jump off the cage, right?
Yes.
That's
Matt
right,
was
yeah.
trying to convince you to come down, and you just said no.
That's a good one, yeah. It was just such good storytelling, you know, because I just couldn't resist it, you know, because the people wanted to see it, but I could have been smart and got down. But overall, man, I think back, I think it was 08 or 09 when I was in the main event with Randy Orton for the world title, and it was in MSG, I believe. I want to say it was Madison Square Garden. And it was just such an electric match, and we ended with a finish that I'd wanted to feature on TV for the longest time, and it was on a pay-per-view at Survivor Series. It was just an honor to be in there with somebody like Randy Orton for the WWE Championship. Another childhood dream come true that was so surreal at Madison Square Garden, and I can't believe that I'm going to be at the Barclays Center tomorrow on Team SmackDown, taking on Team Raw. I'm so excited.
And Survivor Series, like I said, is a rich history, not only for yourself, but in WWE lore. But I got a quick question for you. Think about it very closely. And when I say Mr. or Mrs. Survivor Series, who comes to mind to you? You yourself, you have a long history. The Undertaker debuted at Survivor Series. Roman debuted at the Survivor Series. We're celebrating 25 years of The Rock at Survivor Series. So who would you say, in your mind, is the Mr. or Mrs. Survivor Series?
Oh, gosh, I'd have to say Taker is the Mr. Survivor Series, man. He is just, his career is just oh my God, beyond legendary. It's just almost superhuman, pretty much. It's like unbelievable. And he's done so much for me in my career. It's just amazing. And I've learned so much just by watching him. So he's definitely the Mr. Survivor Series.
Yeah, I mean, that memorable match you had with Undertaker in the ladder match on Raw is one of the greatest memories of my childhood being a wrestling fan. What's like the thing that sticks out the most to you whenever anybody brings up that match?
Just the storytelling, as far as me being such a young kind of underdog against somebody like The Undertaker. There's a comeback moment in that match that's so real when I'm just fighting back, fighting my heart out, but then he shuts me down, and just the crowd were right there with me the whole way, fighting back. But the biggest takeaway from that match is kind of a metaphor for life, in a sense, to where if you get knocked down, man, do whatever you got to do to get back up, within reach if you can. Because I kept getting back up and finally earned his respect. And that moment when he raised my hand and I just collapsed, and I think Raw went off the air that night, and I was just kind of looking at my hand like, did this really just happen? Did this really just happen? Did he really just raise this hand from this young lad, But yeah, that's just, and still to this day when people say that's one of my favorite matches, I'm just like, oh my gosh, that is such a blessing that I was a part of that match, and I can't thank The Undertaker enough.
You've bestowed everybody with so many great memories. Me, myself, I'm a huge fan of yours. With such a long career, what do you think that you have left to accomplish? I don't know how much time you have left in WWE. You could probably tell us how long your contract is, but what is your next goals in WWE as well?
I guess there's 3 I think about more than anything, and number 1 would probably be to be the Universal Champion, ideally defeating Roman Reigns, because that's one of my dream matches, because his stuff is so powerful now. Even, I've got to mix it up with Seth in the ring, and even Dean Ambrose back before he left, and they were the Shield. That was their big deal. So now Roman's the one guy we never came in contact with each other. So I just feel like I kind of belong in that story, and that I will belong in that story. But then number 2 is probably this alter ego of mine called Willow that's kind of out there that people are aware of, doing something that's different than what Bray Wyatt and The Fiend did, but something very exciting, because Willow's near and dear to my heart and my mind, because he was my main thing before we made it in WWE. And then the third one is reuniting with my brother, whether it's here or over there, and over there could be anywhere. Because like you said, I mean, contracts expire, people get released. I mean, it happens all the time. So anything's possible, man, in or outside of wrestling.
I'm very excited for that, especially the last 2. I've seen your work as Willow over in other companies. Great stuff over there. You and your brother Matt, one of the all-time great tag teams. What would you say about another personality that you've had in the past returning, Brother Nero?
And Brother Nero's another one, man. You could even delete the brother, and it could just be Nero, because that's my middle name, and just still kind of do the same deal, but a little more amplified and exaggerated. Could be very cool. I mean, very cool. 'Cause it was so fun being Brother Nero with Broken Matt. That was some of the funnest times in my career. It was just some of the stuff we did cinematically, like just very small, no budget whatsoever, and then all that hard work, and then for the finished product to come out and people to watch that and go, wow, that was unique and different. I kind of like that. That's kind of what I live for, is things that you can do that don't cost $1 million, but they can be very special. And I think music videos are my future too. Like, I got a lot of ideas about my own original music, and actually finally doing some professional videos for them. So yeah, I look forward to that too. I'm just so excited about life, man. Super excited about Survivor Series this weekend.
And your music is something that has always been close to your heart. Do you see yourself kind of going into that career more full-time after your in-ring career is over?
I hope so, man. I think about that all the time as well, because my little shows, acoustic shows, are getting better and better. More people are showing up, more people are hanging around, like on late Monday nights, just listening to the original music. And vocally, I've improved. I'm still trying to find my range and what I can and can't do. But again, it's exciting, man. I kind of feel that that's a definite part of my future. I mean, without a doubt, I'm just too passionate for it not to be. I love it so much. If I didn't have music, I mean, I need that like I need air and blood, And I kind of want to, I love motocross too, but I just can't do that because it's very dangerous, kind of like a bad drug. If you get on there and you get in the groove, I mean, you might get hurt. But yeah, with my wrestling career now, the music, the art, and just the wrestling in itself have all kind of came together, and like everything's working out like so well. And it's just, I'm so blessed, man. I can't complain. I can't believe that I'm here. going to be at Survivor Series this weekend, man. It's just super exciting. And again, the fans, oh my God, the WWE Universe, I thank them so much for sticking behind me through thick and thin and still here right now in 2021, rolling on into 22 with me.
And speaking of the WWE Universe, do they have any surprises in tow for you during Survivor Series weekend as far as your art on your face? Because that's kind of one of my favorite things is seeing the different designs that you're able to pull out. Do you have anything special planned for Survivor Series?
Yeah, I've been kind of trying to mix it up. The way I see it is like kind of half skull, half abstract human alien type of thing. If you notice, you'll see somewhat of a skull in my paint, so I'm going to try to do that tomorrow. The majority color is going to be green. The main color will be green, along with some whites and blacks, I think. But yeah, kind of half skull, half soul, half kind of very spiritual design. And again, I'm an abstract kind of rock and roll guy. So yeah, that's the cool thing about painting my face. I kind of see the image in my head the day of, and then when I get in there and start doing it, it always turns out different. But that's what's cool about art, man. It's just very cool. And when I have time, like a good hour, I just get in such a peaceful state of mind and get so much joy out of the finished product. So I do my little post on Instagram, and it's like a gallery, you know. So, and Sting inspired me so much back in the day. It was different all the time. And that's why mine's different each night, because I can't do the same. I can't do it. I have to be different every time.
And I love it. I love that you're able to do that. And you mentioned Sting is someone else that's has debuted at Survivor Series, but a lot of people are talking about 25 years of The Rock. He's someone that you've shared the ring with before. What is your greatest memory of The Rock's WWE career?
Oh my God, there are so many. Wow. There's so many. Let me think real quick. I was going to say a memory outside of wrestling or WWE. I was taking my guitar on the road. This was in the early 2000s, and I was trying to learn how to play guitar. But he gave me a tuner one day because he was trying to learn too. But he gave me a tuner, and that stands out. Oh my God, that was just The Rock just gave me a tuner to tune my guitar with. But as far as memories, I really like the time he came out there with that fire torch and set his name on fire at WrestleMania, I believe it was. But yeah, that was very cool. He's done so many cool things. I mean, I can't pick one. That's for sure. It's impossible, kind of.
I like the guitar tuner one. So we're going to see Jeff Hardy at the next Rock concert, right?
Oh, yeah, you got it, man, without a doubt. I just wish I could play the guitar better than I can now, because it's one of those things of, I can't do this, I can't do it. But I love writing some lyrics, man. I love it.
And I love everything you're doing. Big fan of yours. I want to thank you for your time. Appreciate it. This has been Jeff Hardy. It's me. It's SP3, and this has been Sportskeeda Wrestling.